Was a huge weekend in college football in the state of Florida. Some good, some not so good. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz, glad to be with you here on CBSSports.com. What's next for Florida, and not just the Gators, but the entire state of college football? Let's bring in our CBSSports.com college football columnist Dennis Dodd to break it down. And Dennis, when you talk about Florida football, you do start with the Gators because they are the defending champs and they do have Tim Tebow. But that is a question mark moving forward. They have a bye. He's coming off this concussion. What has to change? What's next for Florida?
Well, I think the most important thing on their schedule happened to be that they had a bye this week. Who would have known that this tragic thing happened against Kentucky? But they do get that extra week to rest him. I think no matter when he comes back, that Urban Meyer has to tweak that offense, because you cannot run a kid who's just come off a concussion like that into the line 20 times like he's been doing. I was crunching the numbers this week. In the last two games, he's run 40 times. Now, remember, he didn't play the whole game against Kentucky. He's run 40 times. That's the third most combined total carries he's had in his career. In other words, he's only had two other times in back-to-back games where he's run more. So there, in his history at the school, when times get tough, they can talk about, changing the offense and everything. They always go back and put it in his hands and let him run it. We all know that. I don't think you can do that with some certainty now, because there's always that risk that he's going to get hurt again, and it's certainly not into the middle of the line.
No, that's certainly one of the big issues, and he certainly is good for college football and big in the state of Florida, and a lot of people take that deep breath. They have the bye. We'll find out next week if he's going to go against LSU. But, Dennis, do you think their mentality is different now than it was before Tim Tebow got hurt?
Yeah, I think it has to be. I think now they're going either by choice or just because they may have to play Jonathan Brantley against LSU. They become more of a pro-look team, a more of a rushing team, a more of a pro-passing game. I guess what I'm saying is I think they can win with John Brantley in the short term. I think they can go to LSU and win, because I'm not particularly high on LSU at the moment. But, yeah, absolutely, those running backs have to step up. They haven't had a 1,000-yard running back, we know, since 2004. It's running back by committee. Somebody has to get hot, and somebody has to take the bulk of those carries, because that's the carries that Tim Tebow had.
And Urban Meyer said that they would change the offense if indeed it is Brantley. Let's talk about the rest of the state here, Dennis, because there was a shift of power this weekend with South Florida going to Tallahassee without the Big East all-time career leader in total offense, Matt Grothe, who's done for the year, and winning. And not just winning, but what Bobby Bowden said, they spanked us. They were much better than we thought they were. Is South Florida the second best team in the state of Florida?
Well, I'll just go to the source. I'll go to Jim Leavitt, the South Florida coach, who's had a bunch of big wins, but usually, under not anyone in Florida, not one of the big three. He says we're in the discussion now, and if he says it, I'll believe it, because he's a guy. He's one of these closed-mouth coaches who won't even tell you if the sun's up. That's not even a discussion with him, because it might be controversial. So, yeah, I believe that they might be the second best team in the state right now. Florida State is just team schizo. You go and beat BYU, just hammer them. You come home and only score 7. Not only lose, but only score 7 at home against South Florida. I don't understand that. I don't know how to analyze it. Certainly South Florida is number 2 in the state right now.
And Miami getting hammered at Virginia Tech, certainly you could blame it on the weather. Real quickly, Dennis, do you think Miami or Florida State will bounce back the rest of the season stronger? Which one will be stronger the rest of the season?
I think Miami, just because even if they get through this 4-game stretch 2-2, I think they've proved to some extent that there is a future at Miami. There are some great athletes. Ja'Cory Harris looks like a very good quarterback, and they will still have a chance to win the ACC. Don't forget they would come out of that 1-0 in the ACC. So again, I don't know which way Florida State's headed. I mean, they had, to me, better athletes than USF. They struggled with Jacksonville State, then they go out to BYU. I don't get it. Until they establish a personality, you have to say Miami.
Well, they'll confuse us even more when they go to Boston College this weekend with a win or a loss. Either way, we'll see how it all plays off. Dennis Dodd, thank you very much, sir. We'll talk to you real soon.
All right, thanks, Jason.
All right, folks, we'll continue our segments of what's next for next week. For Dennis Dodd, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.